In our country, you can say this about very few politicians, that whether you love them, you hate them, you simply can't ignore them. One such political leader, a member of parliament and the president of AIMIM is Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi, and I sit down with him today to chat about a host of issues ranging from Afghanistan to Assam. Mr. Owaisi, thank you for your time.
Thank you for inviting.
Now, I want to begin with something that's happening around us currently. Taliban has taken over Afghanistan. Mr. Owaisi, what is your stand on the entire thing? You think India should now engage with Taliban?
You see, when in 2013, when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, I had asked the then government that, are you going to open a dialogue with the Taliban? Because every security expert, every important journalist of our country who knows international relations very well have been saying that this is going to happen. Then when Mr. Modi became the Prime Minister from 2014, right up to now, 3 times I have asked this question in the Parliament. Whenever I have raised this question, they have been hooting, they have been shouting, various calls have been made. But it is not me, I'm not an internationalist expert, but I read a lot of people, I speak to a lot of experts, and they have been forewarning us that Taliban will come back. Now, as you rightly said, Taliban is back in Afghanistan, they control Afghanistan now. The important question that is in my mind and which I had raised in today's all-party meeting is, why was there a no contingency plan by the government of India? How is it that we were caught napping? And how is it that, why did we bring all our 200 embassy staff and not maintain some minimal presence, diplomatic presence at the Kabul airport, which the US and the NATO countries were doing? We had 4 consulates, 1 embassy in Afghanistan. And what sort of relationship, cooperation which we have with US? When the US Secretary of State was in India, you must remember a statement was made by Mr. Jaishankar in the Parliament saying that US and India are on the same page as far as Afghanistan is concerned. What sort of on same page are we? When US withdraws from Green Zone, doesn't tell US. When India needed to evacuate their embassy and their nationals, US was not willing to give us their Chinooks. They not even was willing to escort us to the airport. So what sort of, are we on the same page? So, and then the important point is that we have not yet brought the Afghani nationals who are working in our embassy. They are left over there. Now Taliban has said will not allow any Afghani national to leave. And so,
Mr. Owaisi, we have brought Afghan nationals who are Hindu and Sikhs and Muslims who ask for help.
The Afghani nationals who had worked with us in our consulate and in embassies are still stuck in Afghanistan.
That is because they are the locals there, and India said this. I'm telling you, India, you are raising a question. India said this, that we are keeping our embassy operational, that the basic services will be provided because the local staff is still there.
I am talking about those people who have been with us in the forefront in the reconstruction of Afghanistan. A small country like South Korea could take 30 Afghan nationals and give them citizenship. Why? Because they had worked in the embassy in various capacities.
What do you suggest?
I am saying, why didn't we bring them? Why did we have, now there's a grave threat to them. India, as you know, we are the chairman of the sanction committee. Will India, this is what I asked in the meeting, will India de-designate 100 Taliban leaders who have been called as terrorists? And do we still, because in that note which was given to us, we had clearly accepted and said that twice our embassy was attacked in the Green Zone and 1 diplomat died. The responsible person was the Haqqani network. And now those people are now roaming around. And if you don't do it, would you put Taliban under UAPA terrorist organization? And even if you don't do that, will you tell your BJP spokesperson to please shut up and don't go on TV channels and call everyone Taliban? So these are the questions which the government must answer. And lastly, is Modi government at any level of diplomacy, are they in touch with Taliban? Please tell us what is wrong in that. Where are we? See, where are we? We invested, 20 years, 2013, we signed a strategic relationship with Afghanistan. And now we are relying on Russia.
Mr. Owaisi, on one hand you are saying engage with Taliban. On the other hand, you are asking questions whether sanctions would be put against people who are designated
These
terrorists.
are important questions to be asked because India is the...
My question to you was, should we, I mean, you as a political leader, you're also a part of the political discourse in this country, you think that we should engage with Taliban?
No, see, the problem is, I want to know from the ruling party, they are in power, what is their stand? They cannot run away by saying, wait and watch. What wait and watch? 20 years we have been in Afghanistan. What do you mean wait and watch? I want to know, is the Modi government at any level in touch with Taliban?
What answer did you get to that?
No answer to that. We cannot answer. We are relying on Russia to do our work. And we are relying on Iran to do our work. We help them in writing their constitution. The election of Commission of India flew officials in helping them. Now, after doing all this, what is the leverage that we hold now over there?
Mr. Owaisi, I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question about you, your party, the stand you've taken. You've said that you have a problem with the way Taliban behaves, ill-treats the women folk. So I'm asking, do you think it's okay for us to engage with them?
I have a bigger problem because it is Taliban and Pakistan and China have become more stronger now. That is my bigger problem. Forget about, I really don't care what happens inside Afghanistan. I don't care. For me as an Indian, I am worried with this new development. As an Indian, I am really worried that how is it that after spending 20 years, Taliban is nothing but controlled by Pakistan.
You are a Muslim, Mr. Owaisi.
Of course,
it's a Muslim community, the Muslim women being ill-treated there, being subjected to torture there. That is why I'm asking you that question.
You have a very important point, very interesting point. You know what I'm worried as an Indian Muslim? Is how a Muslim was beaten up in front of his small daughter in Kanpur. That 7-year-old girl was clinging to his father. Please don't beat my father, and the police was there and the Hindutva goons were beating her. As an Indian Muslim, I'm more worried about what Prime Minister said, that Chauri Chaura incident. How did that come? You know what happened to that person who was selling bangles? He is the same person who belongs to that, who was given capital punishment. We have forgotten about
Mr.
that.
Owaisi,
as an Indian Muslim,
Mr. Owaisi, you are talking about the Indore incident, right?
Exactly. I'm talking about Indore. As an Indian Muslim, you talk about women. What about Akhlaq's wife? What about Pilu Khan's daughters? What about Alimuddin Ansari's wife issue? What about, see, I'm more concerned about my Indian citizen or Indian Muslims. You ask me about Taliban, what am I going to do with Taliban?
Mr. Owaisi, the incident that you're referring to there in Indore, I hope you have seen the incident in its entirety. The girl there, the victim there has complained that he tried to misbehave, he tried to touch her, and that is why they got hold of him. And the man has a different name, two different Aadhaar cards.
So you beat him?
So you beat him.
So are you trying to say that
you tried saying there's a Muslim
are you legitimizing
and so the incident happened, Mr. Owaisi?
Are you legitimizing by saying that if
why are you giving it a color, sir?
No, of course it has to be given.
Why?
Because how can anyone take law in their own hands? Can anyone beat anyone because he didn't say his right name? If 7 people surround you and beat you up, as an afterthought, that complaint was made. You have this Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh.
As an afterthought?
Yes, that Home Minister, he threatens in that video. What sort of Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh is this? How are we celebrating the Chauri Chaura incident? That same person, they are Mansoori community. This is what I'm worried about. What happens in Afghanistan is not in my domain. I don't care. As an Indian, I am worried about my country. Let them.
So you're talking about Indian Muslims, all right?
Right.
And I want to come to that point, Mr. Owaisi.
Yeah.
Sajjad Omani, a member of the AIM PLB, and I'm quoting him. He says, Hindu Musalman salutes you. He's talking in the context of Taliban. He says Hindu Musalman salutes Taliban. I want to ask you, Mr. Owaisi, would you condemn a statement like this?
Ms. Maulana Sajjad Numani Sahab had spoken in individual capacity and
Would you condemn? Would you not
I am
condemn?
not running away from question.
Okay.
Mr. Maulana Sajjad Numani Sahab did make that statement.
Yeah.
But All India Muslim Personal Law Board had issued a clarification after Times now tweeted using the wrong All India Muslim Personal Law Board has said this. The All India Muslim Personal Law said that it is
How
his-
convenient
listen,
it is that All India Muslim Personal
it
Board then
is-
puts out a clarification and Mr. Omani then becomes a
I'll
personal capacity statement. It
I'll
becomes.
tell you how. Because there are various members of Muslim Personal Law Board, and Muslim Personal Law Board constitution, if anyone reads it, has nothing to do what happens outside India. Had Muslim, they are official spokesperson, Muslim Personal Law Board, whatever Mr. Sajjad Numani has said, I don't agree with him.
You don't agree with him.
That's his viewpoint. That is
You don't agree with him.
That's his viewpoint. That's his viewpoint. Yes, but
Would you condemn it? Would you condemn it
why
now?
do you want me to condemn? Why do you want me to condemn for what?
And why not?
I don't agree with him. Simple as that.
But you wouldn't use the word condemn.
No, I'm neither condoning it, neither I'm condemning it.
Mr.
Yes, seriously,
Owaisi.
yeah.
It is the same Taliban, Mr. Owaisi, that you remember how they had given patronage to the hijackers of IC-814.
Yes.
This is the same Taliban.
Yes, that is what I'm asking this government. What happened in 20 years?
Yet you say engage. Yet you say
What,
engage.
exactly. What happened in 20 years? What did you do in 20 years? Please tell us.
Why do you want us to engage with them?
Engage with whom?
With Taliban?
It is. Do you know what happened in all-party meeting?
What happened?
I had asked this question to the government. Are you in touch
Yeah.
at a formal or informal level with Taliban? Are you going to de-designate them being the chairman, because India is the chairman of the sanction committee? What is the answer that I get?
What?
No answer. No answer I get.
What is no answer? What did he say? He cannot answer? What did he say? He cannot give the
You
information
know,
out?
Mr. Jaishankar has been a diplomat. So he was speaking in a flowery language of running from side to this side. That is what we get.
So you didn't get an answer?
We didn't get an answer, not at all.
Well, Mr. Owaisi, even I'm not getting a straight answer from you on the issue of
No,
Taliban. But then,
I am sitting in front of you and trying as much as possible. I know I cannot convince you with my answers, but I'm answering in the best possible way.
let's get to another issue, Mr. Owaisi. You have been one of those very vocal critics of CAA. You went to the Supreme Court. You moved the Supreme Court asking for CAA to be declared unconstitutional, etc. You've
Yes.
done all of that. I want to bring you to what's happening today. There are leaders and political parties who've come out with statements urging the Prime Minister and the Home Minister that expand the ambit of CAA. Let the Hindus, let the persecuted Sikhs who are coming from Afghanistan this year, last year, they should also be included in CAA. I want to ask
How
you,
would
can
do
you
it?
understand?
How would you do it?
Do you now
No,
realize
how would
the
you do- how
importance
would you
of
do it? How
CAA,
would you do it?
Mr.
Please tell
Owaisi? Do you now realize the importance
No,
of
no,
CAA
how do you
and
do-
realize that you were wrong?
How would you do it? Did you watch my speech in the parliament?
Yeah,
On CAA?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
You remember I said, what about Afghanistan? What about Hazaras? What about Tajiks? What about Uzbeks? I had, at that point of time, I had warned this government, you're doing a strategic wrong over here. You should have made this a religious neutral law. I had said, listen to me. And secondly, it is the government which has put December 2014, isn't it?
Yeah, December.
And secondly, please,
Yeah.
and third point. All these people, the Sikhs who control the foreign exchange in Kabul and the Afghani Hindus who are coming, they are coming in documentation. They have long-term visas. Why did this government put to December 2014?
No, that's what I'm asking you is that there are people who are now saying expand the ambit. I am coming to the moot point of CAA.
For your
Yeah.
information, even before CAA was enacted by BJP's with the brute majority, which I still feel is an unconstitutional law, are you saying that there was no provision to get Hindus and Sikhs of Afghanistan?
What's your problem with CAA, sir? What is your problem with
It
CAA?
is unconstitutional. it discriminates on the grounds of religion, it violates right to equality in the constitution, it goes against the basic structure of our constitution. That is my
you know the Lautenberg amendments, sir, how it gave shelter and safe havens to all the persecuted religious minorities. The only thing India did by enacting CAA was to fast track it. Do we at any stage say that Muslims cannot ask for citizenship in India? Persecuted Muslim Pakistani can ask for citizenship in India. Why can't we, sir? Then why do you keep objecting to CAA?
Fantastic. Now listen to this. You should read the law properly, number one. Secondly, CAA should not be seen in isolation. You have to read CAA with NPR and NRC. It is the Home Minister who stood up and said, "Haan, laenge NPR and NRC karenge." Now, I'll come to this point. What happened in Assam?
What happened in Assam?
There were some 3.2 million people, names have not come. Supreme Court monitored NRC. What did the BJP government do over here? We will not accept it. Why? Because it was not according to their desires, because there were higher number of non-Muslims in that list. Is this rule of law? CAA has to be looked to the prism of NPR and NRC.
Do you think that you will go back?
If it is done, you mark my words, this government is hell-bent if it is done with NPR and NRC, though after so many, a year and a half has passed, rules have not yet been made. If it is done, I am thankful to my state of Telangana, which has said that we will do census, but we will not do NPR and NRC. If it is done, what has happened in Assam? BJP itself is not accepting the NRC, which has been in Supreme Court monitored.
Sir, will you go back? Will you and your party want to revisit, take a relook at the stand you have taken against CAA?
I am against CAA because it is unconstitutional. It violates the basic structure of the constitution, it violates right to equality, it discriminates on the grounds of religion.
There are parties who were so against CAA have come around now. Understanding the importance of CAA.
I don't speak for those parties. I speak for the Constitution of India. I speak for the supremacy of the Constitution of India, which clearly tells me and guides me that no law can be made on the basis of religion which discriminates me on the ground of religion. You cannot do that. And BJP is indulging in false propaganda that but for CAA, or if we didn't have CAA, we couldn't have given citizenship or brought Hindus from Pakistan or Bangladesh or from Afghanistan. It's absolutely rubbish, nonsense. Absolutely rubbish and nonsense.
So CAA will, a law like CAA, just the other day Mr. Hardeep Puri said.
I have tweeted to Hardeep Puri's tweet and asked him, has he read the law? All these people who are coming from Afghanistan, whether it's Afghani Sikhs, Afghani Hindus, are coming on documentation. They have long-term visas. I have asked this question, how many Afghani people have been given visas? Please tell us.
Oh, there are Muslims. There are Muslim Afghans.
Please tell us.
The counting is now happening in these evacuation flights. There are Muslim Afghanis who are being brought back.
We as a country, we didn't bring those Afghani nationals who are working in our embassy and consulates. We didn't bring them. We have left them over there. Give us numbers then. Come on, let us see how many.
What are you trying to say, that India betrayed them?
I'm not saying that. Every country who was there before Taliban took over, they have immediately taken over their staff. I have given an example of Seoul, of South Korea.
You, Mr. Owaisi, you talk about discrimination on the lines of religion, and so I want to now bring you to the topic of caste census. You've been a very vocal proponent. You want caste census to happen. Your party's member was there in the delegation to the Prime Minister's residence, right?
Bihar MLA.
Bihar MLA. Now I want to ask you, Mr. Owaisi, there was very, very good reason and logic as to why the government of the day did not go ahead with the caste census. Please explain
what is the logic?
Please explain to me why you want it. Why you want it?
I want to hear from Megha Prasad the logic. What is the logic?
Mr. Owaisi. So I'm giving you the answer. You asked me a question, giving you an answer, Mr. Owaisi. This country is already so badly divided. We are so badly divided on lines of religion, caste, etc. Why do you want the country to be divided even more?
Oh, this is a new discovery I'm hearing. So
what is a new discovery? That the country is divided on the lines of religion? Is that a new discovery for you? I mean, your entire politics is based on a religion.
That is why you invited me. So I'll tell you one thing. Now, is corona spreading because of what? Of not counting the patients? or not giving the vaccine? Please tell me. Listen to me. Listen, Corona is spreading because we are counting numbers, right? And same over here. When was the OBC census done? 1931.
31.
Mr. Modi wants to repeal all colonial laws. 1931, 50% of population is getting 27% benefit, and 20% are getting 50%. Mr. Modi, and then your answer, it will perpetuate division.
Yes.
It will perpetuate division.
You don't think so?
No. It will not, because every scheme of state and central government is based on which person lives in a kacha house, which person lives in a pakka house, how many dropout children are in the school, how many women of that particular caste are aborting children. On this basis, a particular scheme is evolved. What is wrong in that? When a census is done, you are saying SCs, STs, Muslims, Hindus.
You know what
why
happened,
not?
Mr.
Why
Vese?
not? No, listen to me. Why not? Why not? Why shouldn't
I'll tell you why not.
I'll tell you what. Who's opposing this? It is the upper caste people opposing it. Why are they opposing it? Do you know in a recent survey, 22% of upper caste people hold 44% wealth of this country? Is that all right? Is that all right? Is it all right? So why is the upper caste opposing it?
Okay.
What is wrong in knowing an OBC? And remember, it was in the parliament Mr. Modi took affront that I was not able to introduce my OBC ministers. My OBC ministers. And then he said, they will go to Jan Ashirwad rally. So in parliament, you stand up and say, these are my OBC ministers. You opposition didn't allow, so we'll send them all across the country. And for your information, I knew this question will come up. 45% of BJP MPs in Hindi belt are upper caste. And
why do you have a problem with that?
No, exactly. I am saying that there should be equal share. India is not a homogeneous country. There's a diversity which we should celebrate. There are so many OBCs.
They get elected.
Yes, exactly.
They get elected by people.
If getting elected is the criteria of empowerment, no. The criteria of empowerment is you know where these communities are lacking behind, how badly they are treated, what is their share in the appointments in central universities. You know how many posts are vacant in central universities of OBCs?
Mr. Vese, can I ask you one question?
Please,
You don't think that a caste census, the way all of you are asking for, this will embolden those communities who are numerically stronger, and then politicians like you will go around appeasing those communities. This against other communities. If you have a Yadav community and a Kurmi community.
Madam, absolutely wrong. Right to equality in the Indian Constitution is substantive equality. And substantive equality would be achieved if a new caste census is done.
Okay.
That is how you can get substantive equality. For OBC community, it has to be done. What is wrong in that?
Okay, all right. Now, Mr. Vese, the Uttar Pradesh elections just around the corner. I want to ask you, what are your plans?
Plans are good. From last 5 years, we have strengthened our party organization in at least 50 districts of Uttar Pradesh. We have won some 27 Zilla Parishad seats, and in more than 30-35 places we have come second. So things are looking good.
Things are looking all right.
All right. Yeah, that's the right word.
Okay.
And we still have to work hard.
You fought on about 38 seats last time around. You didn't win any.
Less than that. No, not 38.
But you didn't win any.
We didn't win any.
So yes. Are you planning to ally with any party, if at all, with whom?
You see, we were part of this Sankalp Morcha of Mr. Om Prakash Rajbhar. So we are still with other smaller parties are there with us.
What about Samajwadi Party?
Well, you should ask them. Samajwadi Party, you should ask them what is there, because if and if he says that he's already won 400 seats, what can I say? What can I say if Mr. Akhilesh Yadav says?
Would you be interested?
No, it is for them. As a party president, I've said, okay, we are willing to have an alliance apart from BJP. If you want to stop BJP, okay, let us have.
So you're ready to have an alliance with the Congress also?
Where is Congress? The main leader of Congress party lost his home seat in Amethi. See, you have an alliance with someone what we saying is जो जिंदा है उनसे उनका हाथ मिलेंगे ना, जो जिंदा ही नहीं है उनसे क्या करेंगे? अब जो मेमोरीज में है, तारीख में, तो उनसे politics cannot be run on memories. Politics has to be done on creating history on the ground.
क्या कह रहे हैं आप कि राहुल गांधी अब मेमोरीज में, प्रियंका गांधी मेमोरीज में?
मैं वैसा नहीं कर रही. Rahul Gandhi has lost the Amethi seat, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he won the seat in South in Kerala. So it is for them. Akhilesh Yadav, the party, Barak got a case on sedition because of his statement. Again, I don't agree with that statement, but imposition of sedition is wrong because Supreme Court has said it should be followed by violence. And he doesn't utter a word. The man doesn't utter a word.
Yeah.
30,000, 50,000 people were displaced in Uttar Pradesh when Akhilesh was chief minister. And now all these secular people, liberal people, oh no, secular, Arey bhai, this happened over there. And you know, in the recent Zilla Parishad election, BJP didn't put a candidate against his cousin. And Akhilesh doesn't put a candidate in 17, 18 districts. So this is the game which everyone is playing in the name of secularism. And when we contest, oh no, B team, your vote katwa. If a Yadav is voting for BJP, no one said that particular Yadav is vote katwa. But when a Muslim comes out and says that I want you to become a leader, have a share in UP politics, have a voice in UP politics, no, you cannot do that. You should always be subservient, obedient slave of all these secular parties, which I completely disagree.
Mr. Owaisi, if you are saying Congress is a party which is perhaps now living in the
Uttar
limits.
Pradesh,
Okay, in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, let me take that question beyond Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Owaisi. Who do you think is a national alternate to Congress right now? I mean, you are a party in the
130 crore people of India will give a verdict in next parliament elections. And
Where is that party? Who is that party? Who is that leader?
Parties win because the 136 crore people of 130 crore people
Which
of
party
India.
are we talking
Don't
about?
worry,
An alternate.
Don't worry about parties. This same thing was said in 2004. Shining India happened. Shining India. I have been following you from years. Shining India happened. What happened? Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government lost badly. It is people of India who will give a verdict. I agree with you to a certain extent because this farmers' agitation, CAA protest is also an example that people feel that political parties are not exactly representing them. That's why they feel you have to come out on the road. I agree with you. But when it comes to election, believe me, people of India will give a verdict.
Which party? I'm talking about which party?
Doesn't matter if people of India will definitely decide in 24 to defeat BJP, it will happen. It will happen.
Where is the alternate?
Don't worry. See, the biggest authority and power lies with people who vote and vote.
Mr. Owaisi, there's a lot of movement that is happening politically. Parties rallying.
I am an outcast in that.
You're an outcast. I agree there.
Fortunately, I'm an outcast in that. I'm happy where I am. I'm happy where I am.
There are political parties that are rallying around Mamata Banerjee. You think Mamata Banerjee is an alternate?
Yeah, well, Mamata Banerjee had to use her Gotra, and she's secular. Rahul Gandhi had to use his Gotra. But I cannot ask for political Muslim empowerment. Why? And I should be a subservient. I should be a slave to these parties. I should not raise my voice. I should be deaf and dumb to their and suppress my empowerment, my innermost dreams. That is what they believe in. Thankfully, I am there, sitting in front of you. I am not there.
My final question to you, Mr. Owaisi. The state of Assam has recently enacted this law which ensures that cow slaughter cannot happen in the state and consumption of beef cannot happen in a distance or perimeter of 5 kilometers around any temple or a Sikh or a Jain religious place.
A short answer to your long question is, it violates Puttaswamy judgment of Supreme Court. What I eat is now a fundamental right, it's right to privacy, which that law completely violates. It is being challenged, and I'm sure that the judicial verdict will come out. And you know how
that's the legal aspect.
And do you know how many people eat meat in Assam? 20%, 30%, 40%, more than 70% of people eat meat in Assam.
So
the problem with BJP governments is that in their priority list is not issues of governance, zone empowerment. It is what? Population. You have already achieved your TFR in Assam, for God's sake. You know, this abject poverty in lower Assam, talk about that. But you want to raise the contentious issues for what? There's a reason behind it.
What do you think is the reason behind it?
The reason behind is, one, to cover up all their misgovernance of BJP, which, and especially their complete abdication of their authority and responsibility during the second wave. So raise the issue. Raise the issue. I mean, you have in your own state, your police is being killed by another state police.
Yeah.
Is that not an issue? Is that not a violation of Article 355? Mr. Amit Shah should have intervened. No, but this issue is important. But people of Assam are watching all this.
So you are saying that the BJP does very little about real development, only goes around trying to divide the society.
This is what every Indian is saying now. High petrol prices, huge, rapid unemployment, people don't have purchasing power. You know, everywhere you see schools have closed. In my city, Hyderabad, more than 1,000 private schools have closed. Teachers who have done MEd are selling vegetables on footpaths. Is the BJP concerned? No, BJP is more concerned about Taliban. BJP is more concerned about how Taliban treats their women. BJP is more concerned about this issue, that issue, to rake up all.
So what do you think is going to be the issue on which the 2022 UP elections going to be fought?
I need not guess. BJP will not talk about floating corpses on Ganga. BJP will not talk about dogs eating corpses on the banks of Ganga river. BJP will talk about issues, population control. Again, the Baba, who's the chief minister, does not know that he have already achieved the TFR. These are issues which BJP wants to play, but I'm sure people will realize that the real issues are concerning to their livelihood. You know, there are 37 lakh people, nearly 35 lakh odd people on unemployment portal of UP. This was stated by the minister inside the UP assembly. These are the issues which are important to people of UP.
Mr. Owaisi, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.